Hey, everybody, welcome back to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, and we have a lovely revisiting guest here today. Thanks so much for being here, Helen.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited, Kate.
Yay, me too. Our last conversation was amazing, and you so kindly reminded me it is almost 2 years since our last chat. So, why don't you update our listeners? Tell us what you have going on, what your offers are, where you are, maybe even from our last interview, too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, things have changed so much. I think last time I came on, this is the big lesson. I was trying to be a jack of all trades kind of thing. And as much as I love the umbrella niche of being able to have, so many of my skills in one place, what's really changed in the last 2 years is me getting very, very focused on what is my true zone of genius, which is messaging, and more specifically, seeing my client's zone of genius. Like, I can see exactly what it is that we need to focus on, and then understanding how we position that to sell. And it's just like, it was really strange, Kate, because like I have had these like skills, as most of us have, all along. I was the word nerd at school, the English prize winner. I've been in sales for 20 years, and then it's suddenly like the penny dropped. I was like, why am I not doing the things that are literally sitting right in front of my face, in front of my nose? And so yeah, that's what's happened. And yeah, the last 2 years has been incredible. The last year, 2024, was a huge year for me, going from, very small inconsistent sales months through to, multiple six figures. I now have, using AI to build out and supplement the work that I do to enhance my clients' experiences. I have my own chatbot coming, and it's also exciting. That was a world exclusive that I just dropped there, by the way. But just having some incredibly solid offers, some incredibly exciting clients that I've worked with who are doing incredible things. And for me, as always, my mission is about getting the people who are doing such brilliant work seen and fully paid and recognized for their work. So I always say to my clients, look, I'm here to help you get the biggest impact and create the most incredibly insane income. I'm not the life-changing one. You guys are the ones that are literally changing lives. And when, you know what it's like when you get the feedback from your own clients, and their impact is what is like where the magic's at and what makes us come to work every day and like obsess with our businesses. And so, yeah, it's been a huge year for me and a big change since I was last here. So I'm excited to come back.
Thank you so much for being here. Whoever's watching the YouTube will see like how ecstatic I am for you. I feel
Oh,
like, this transition was like perfect. Even in our last interview, I can remember us talking about messaging a lot and how much you
yeah.
loved words and marketing, and this was your jam. So it's very fitting that you have taken this on and that you're helping your clients be so successful. And congratulations. I mean, what a 180, to happen in a
Yeah.
short amount of time.
Yeah, I know why it happened. I know, and this is what I help my clients with. I know why it happened, but what I did and the power moves that I made. But yeah, you're so kind. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for saying that. It's
Oh my
exciting.
gosh. Yeah. Can you share with us, like, I know you already shared some of the transitions that you've made, but what
Yeah.
was those power moves that you feel like
Yeah.
were like massive impacts for
Yeah,
you?
like when I look back and like look at the datelines and how much has changed and like what were the big things that like really moved the needle. The first thing was, like I said, getting very, very specific on one thing. And I know you hear that, like I know we hear that, but sometimes we think we're being specific, but we're not. And it's like very focused on the thing that is truly your genius, not the thing you want to be your genius or the thing that you think you should have as your zone of genius, but the thing that naturally comes to you. And like I say to my clients, what is the thing that feels so light as a feather? Could you do literally all day with your eyes closed? That is what you were born to do. And we, for some reason, I think I know what it is. We're ambitious women and we want everything. We want to be able to do everything and help everyone. And so we try and do all the things. And actually, I've really invested in my own learning of my own zone of genius. That's been the other thing. So establishing what it was, being unafraid to actually just narrow down, really going all in, spending tens of thousands of dollars in my own genius to improve that, working from the best of the best. And then the other big things, or a couple of big things, are really getting clear on my unique process, what it is about what I do that is really different from everybody else, which is that I keep messaging super simple because I know how time consuming and overwhelming it can feel, very confusing. And people end up not scaling their businesses because they're spending so much time trying to put together pieces of content, praying that they're actually going to convert or get visibility, relying on things like trending audios to get them seen. And actually, they're just really kind of throwing, mud at the wall. And what we have to do is really kind of know exactly what it is. So to go back to what you're saying, really kind of know the simplicity in messaging is so possible, and to create high converting messaging that's simple is what I do. So that's the next thing, is really kind of like knowing what's unique and defining that process. If you can look at all the work that you do with your clients, and although it will be bespoke to the different clients that you work with, there'll be a process, there'll be something that gets the results, and it's about making sure that you're very super clear on that, documenting it and matching that process and how you get the results and presenting that in a way that actually converts. So what I mean by that is that when you can describe your process in a way that feels attractive and appealing to your ideal clients, that is how we're going to actually make the sales. And so getting the clarity on that has been the other thing. And then the third thing I would say is my level of audacity. Now, this is a big, huge thing. Like, my confidence in my skills has changed everything. Like, I think in the last 6 months specifically, being really unapologetic about my particular zone of genius. And I will stand there and say, I'm an expert at what I do. I will not apologize for that. Come at me if you want. Tell me, like, who does she think she is if you want. But I'm a very kind, humble person. But I absolutely know that I'm really, really good at what I do. And I think having that level of audacity and confidence about your work, go and find it. You haven't got it already, go and find it, because that is what is going to sell. People want to buy from leaders, authority, like have that unquestionable authority about what they do. And again, we've got to put that into your messaging and how you communicate your work. It's, the difference between a sale and a premium client going to somebody else who has that level of audacity, but is perhaps like half as good as you. And, most of my clients know they're excellent. They just don't know how to communicate that, or they're holding back a little bit, or they're communicating their authority in the wrong way, the way that doesn't sell. And that's been huge for me. So, and the final thing's networking, like getting on podcasts like this, like being invited by incredible women like you to, share what I do. And this is a huge piece. And I know you agree with that as well. That's a huge piece of my growth. And it's also fun, right? It's also so much fun.
It's a blast. It's like it makes entrepreneurship less lonely at the same time, too. Like realizing that we can create these ecosystems and these networks that we quite literally live off of. I
Yeah.
find it so amazing, like that the online world has provided this to us. Um,
Absolutely.
like overseas, we can support one another and we work with clients all around the world. It's such a blessing.
It so is. And, just knowing that, like in the coaching space or in the entrepreneurial space, sometimes it feels lonely just because our loved ones, the ones we live with, don't understand it. Like, it's a whole different world. And because we're online so much, we do have to make these online connections. And that's how, yeah. And with, that's how we share our experiences, and we're all going through the same things. So yeah, no, it's really important, definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing your story too. I know it's going to resonate with all of our listeners. It resonates with me, even at the beginning of us launching our companies, we're like, we think we're confident. We think we know, what we're sharing and that it will resonate with people. And the more that you learn about yourself and how you communicate and how your clients communicate, that
Mhm.
quickly changes,
Yeah.
and we have to be able to adapt to it quickly in order to
Mm.
create income. I mean, that's like the reality,
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
such a great point, because people do refine and become better and better at what they do, but their messaging never keeps up.
Yeah.
And we don't look at it. My clients come to me and, we're talking multiple 6-figure, 7-figure business owners, coaches who are known in their niche, but they're still talking in the same way in their messaging as they were 2 years ago. And they don't kind of look at that. They assume their audience are just going to keep up with them, but no. And it's so important to, you're so right, so important to continue to revise the way you're presenting yourself and make it match where you're at right now and who you
Yeah.
have right now, you know?
Right. Our ideal clients evolve and change.
Yeah.
And we were working
Mhm.
with, like yourself as the perfect example 2 years ago, is probably massively different, than
Oh
who we're
yeah.
working with today. And
Uh-huh.
words won't resonate. I think even for
No.
myself, I made this mistake early on. It was a great learning lesson, though. It was really like to reframe it. It was awesome. I hired all these people that helped me with my messaging and, the contracts and the welcome packets. And
Yeah.
like that's a whole nother can of worms, as
Uh-huh.
the client process, I'm sometimes sending that to the client ahead of time to make
Yeah.
them decipher if they want to choose me or the next marketing person that they're interviewing. And if it doesn't align, then it's over, the relationship
Yeah,
gets
absolutely.
shut down. So I
No, you,
appreciate so much the work that you do because I feel like our clients normally are missing that piece, and you are the middleman to support them before we can even get to the agency aspect of scaling their company.
exactly. You've got to get the foundations absolutely nailed down. You've got to know what it is that you want to say. You've got to know how you want to represent yourself, what you feel most aligned with, most confident about, and really like it is identifying what makes you special and unique and running with that. But knowing how to position that to sell, like knowing how you match that with what your ideal client actually want. Because as I always say, there's a million ways to sell anything. Like, you can sell a Porsche in 1,000 ways. Like someone's going to go into the car dealership really interested in the speed. Someone is going to be the paintwork. Someone's going to be the sound system. Someone, the mum that comes in with 3 kids just wants the big trunk in the back for all the stuff. And so
Right.
you've got to know how to position, and that's what obviously messaging and marketing is within your zone of genius. So yeah, absolutely. And then you take them from there, and it's like, right, let's put the system into place, which I love. And you're so
Yay.
to do as well. And
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just always really appreciate the conversations that we have because I feel like we approach marketing in a
yeah.
very similar way. And
Yeah.
it is hard in our area to find people that approach this ethically,
Oh,
morally,
goodness, yeah.
it can be a little sticky out there, but I love what you said about being able to position and sell because even within our ideal client hub, and I would love to get your opinion on this,
Hmm.
each client may be buying from us for very different reasons,
Yeah.
So how
Mhm.
do you help your clients approach those different, I call them ideal client avatars,
Yeah,
because I feel like
sure.
the hub, but not always needing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of my clients do have multiple things that they can help their clients with. But what we tend to do is just, I take them through a process where they're looking at the common attributes, the common problems, and the common micro-specific moments that are showing up every single day where those problems are manifesting themselves. So, how are those things, how are those things showing up in their day? Looking at the common beliefs behind the actions that they're taking. And this is a really detailed process, simple but in-depth process that I take my clients through. There's only 4 steps to it, but that allows us to establish those like common principles. And a lot of it comes down to, sometimes it doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter to a certain extent. We need to take this into account of where your ideal client is at on their journey towards the result they want. But at the same time, the attributes of that person, that ideal client, want to be speaking to that common person. Like, who do you really want to work with? You're going to want to be working with those action takers, those clients that are here serious serious about their business, really want to create huge amounts of income and impact. And it's about really making sure we're speaking to those common attributes in your messaging. And that's how I approach it. That's my take. I don't know about yours, but it is about, again, and then your zone of genius, like how your zone of genius, that stays the same. How it is applied to those different clients. Yeah, it's all in the positioning. That's what messaging is based on. Marketing is all about at the end of the
Right.
day.
I love it. I love how you boil it down to the simplicity of what you provide, because what we're talking about is so, abstract. And I
Yes,
think that that's
huge.
why so many people have, like a problem connecting
Yeah,
the
yeah.
words to like something
Where to
that is so
start?
abstract. Yeah, like a lot of our listeners, they're
Yeah.
service providers, healers, they're coming from the spiritual aspect
Hmm.
lens even, but what they're providing can be extremely tangible and like very in mainstream, but the
Absolutely.
way they prefer to describe it is through these different languages. And I
Yeah,
think that's where I see a lot of my clients struggling and how to put this abstract
yeah.
spirituality lens to
Uh-huh.
marketing to
Mhm.
call those people in that like are already attracted to that, things like
Yeah,
human design and like pretty mainstream
yeah.
things to us, but the
Yes,
every person may not
yeah,
know, about those tools. Do you have any
yeah.
tips or have you worked with clients in that aspect of things too?
Absolutely. All the time. There's one clear thing that helps this to succeed when you are like struggling, and that is really speaking to those core high desired problems. How are you going to solve the things that your ideal clients like matter to the most? And that's the key to it. It's really identifying those things, and it's identifying on the flip side, what do they want most? What's their highest desired results? And I often talk about this when it comes to your messaging, you have to dangle the chocolate, not the broccoli. I call this the chocolate versus the broccoli. You have to work out what the chocolate is. They are the things that are often the surface level, but what are those things that keep your clients up at night? What are the things that they wish they had or could be or could do? What are those core things that they would move heaven and earth for, that they're really searching for the answers on? Versus the broccoli, which is all the good stuff that your work does and can provide, but we can't really put that at the forefront of our messaging because that's not what's going to create the sales or grab attention. And so when it comes to the abstract, we identify those, even those abstract pieces around those, answering those like core problems, solving those core problems and really delivering on those highest desired results. And as long as you do that, and you can very simply explain your work. Again, it goes back to one of the big needle movers I was referencing earlier about my own journey. Explaining your work with your process is going to help your ideal clients to see why and how what you do is going to get them to where they want to go. So they're the two things that I would focus on for anyone that has those kind of intangible things. But yeah, we can be intangible, but we can still be specific. And that's the key. That's my middle name, specific. Like everything, I always telling my clients, can we get more specific? Can we get more specific? That's the
Yeah.
key to it. So in all
I
areas.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's amazing. Thank you so much for explaining like
Yeah.
really the desired outcome of what our clients are needing. For
Yeah.
example, like of recently I got Reiki 2 certified, and a lot of my clients are also Reiki 2. And they always say to me, like, the second I say Reiki, people are like,
Yeah.
what is that? And like
Yeah. Yeah.
almost immediately shut down, And coming from like the sales side of what we provide, we need people to be very open throughout the
Yeah.
entire conversation in order to convert them. And we want them to feel safe. Like we don't want them to
Yeah.
think, oh, she's doing energy healing. Like,
Yeah.
no,
What is
not
that?
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a great example of what you were explaining. Like, what do people actually get after the Reiki session with you or after working with you for a year through Reiki
Yeah.
sessions that are scheduled out? Like, they're more present in their body. They have a more fulfilled lifestyle. They live more aligned,
Yeah.
which could be from the lens of eating, could be from the lens
Yeah.
of relationships.
I was
Like,
going to say, what does that mean to them? Like specifically, how does that look? What does aligned mean? That's the kind of question I'd be asking my clients. Like, so let's like really delve into those things. You say, right, yeah, what does Reiki do for? What's the end result, and how can we position that as the solution to their problems, quote unquote, that are going on in their life right now? For sure. Yeah.
yeah, it's so good. It's like being able to listen in the sales process was the biggest key factor for me. Like I used to come in with a lot of anxiety and, really wanting to impress the person
Yeah.
that I was chatting with. And I
Mhm.
learned letting them talk more was the biggest key, you know, and then I could just say, like, hey, I really do think I could support you because of XYZ. And
Yeah,
that's what you shared with me. Or
yeah,
you really don't think I can support you, but I have a really great person named Helen
yeah,
that could, you know, like
yeah,
combining solutions in other aspects too. How
yeah.
do you get your clients to really create that safe space and have their potential clients open up on something like that?
Again, so it comes down to my work is all Becky. My other middle name is Simplicity. Everything I do is about keeping things so simple. I have 5 core frameworks that I teach, and they're all based around just 3 core sales psychology principles. So everything I teach, we bring back to that, and that is certainty, connection, and authority. And it is about creating that connection. That's the piece there. So across the 5 frameworks that I help my clients with, and we make sure we rotate in their content, in their emails, and all the messaging across their business, sales pages, etc., etc. Even talking on a podcast, you know, I do it naturally, but I know there are pieces to put in. But it's like we bring in those elements of connection. We create what I have like 2 brand positioning frameworks, where it is about showcasing what makes you unique, showcasing your process, your values, your beliefs, and sharing those. But most importantly, and this is where people go wrong, is that they share those values, they share those opinions, they start getting spicy on the internet and like shouting for shouting's sake. And it's about making sure that you connect those to what matters most to your ideal clients. It's building that bridge using your messaging between your beliefs and values and processes, etc., and what's important to you to what is important to your premium clients as well. And so, yeah, it is building that connection using your messaging. And isn't it amazing we can do that? Like the power of words just blows me away every single time. Small phrases, tiny words, shifts, micro tweaks that make all the difference. You know, when I take people's piece of content and, you know, just small things, and we transform it into something that's super high converting. And it's like, yes, through the power of language. I'm obsessed.
So
Obsessed.
good. It's so good. I know you know I love words too. That's
Yeah.
like my thing. I
Yeah.
went to college and we studied like writing, rhetoric, and technical communication.
Love that.
My favorite classes ever. Like
Yeah.
really understanding why authors' words are used and
It's
you
a
know,
science. It's
it
amazing.
really
It's
is.
amazing. Mhm.
Yeah, it's not. I think we overcomplicate things naturally as humans, and you are
Cool.
able to really help, you know, your clients and our potential listeners simplify things. So can you tell us how we can get in touch with you if you have any freebie offers that you'd like to share with us, and then how we can ask some questions too, because I'm sure everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you so much. Just want to say that I've just loved this so much, and I appreciate everyone that's listening. Please, please don't be shy. Go and connect with me on Instagram. I know you put the links. It's just my name, Helen Thacker, but go and drop into my DMs. It's only me. You know, I firmly believe that I want to make connections with real people. So come and say hi. Tell me that you listen to the podcast and ask me a question. I'm so open to helping with that. And then the other thing is to go and get inside my brand new messaging vault, which is unlike anything else I've seen in the industry. And it's literally like the real time, week by week, behind the scenes of the breakdown of what's working for my clients. I'm going to let people in to all the secrets, and I'm so excited to share that. It's an incredible space. Like I said, it's game changing. I always like to stay ahead of the curve. And so I'll drop the link obviously to you to share, but please go and get inside that, because I'm going to be dropping in riffs, specific step-by-step pieces of content. And even for anyone that's in there, there'll be opportunities to ask me questions as well. And it's all free, but it's going to be gold. It's gold inside that vault. Go and get it. So
Love it.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Helen. Yeah, everyone who is multitasking, all the links are below in the show notes. Save this, message me if you need me to connect you with Helen, or drop that vault link below. I will definitely be joining. That sounds so cool. So I love it. Thank you so much again. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we say our goodbyes?
No, just want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate you so much, Caitlin. This has been a blast, as always. And I can't wait to share you out in front of my audience as well, because you are insanely, incredibly talented at what you do. And I'm so glad we've connected again. It's great.
Me too. Thank you so much. That was so kind. I can't wait to continue our conversations as always, and we'll see you next time.